Well, here we are. We've finally arrived to the point in the plot where the movie utterly falls apart. I've been looking forward to dissecting these next few scenes ever since I started. Trust me, there's a lot to unpack. Now we have to begin by addressing how the writers clearly used Mark being knocked out just to rearrange all the pieces on the board to suit the following scenes. We're expected to believe that while Mark was unconscious, Emma and Tywin flew from Antarctica to Mexico in a helicopter, without encountering any resistance or needing to refuel. I looked up ospreys and found that their effective range is about 1,000 miles. Yet their osprey traveled from Antarctica to Mexico without a hitch. That also means that they somehow outpaced the Argo, a rocket-propelled stealth bomber which even gave Rodan a good chase. Maybe Tywin had a little of that magical teleportation ability rub off on him from Game of Thrones. I'm glad you died before they could ruin you too, Tywin. You could have ended up like poor Jon Snow.
She is my queen. You are my queen. You are my queen. I don't know what else I can say.
All I can say is that I can't believe there's no other military forces between Mexico and Antarctica that could be called on to shoot down Tywin's lone helicopter. The Orca is a doomsday weapon in Tywin's hands. They have his flight path. I think lethal force would be more than appropriate. Of course that would mean killing Emma and Maddie. But weighed against the loss of major populations, it's a no-brainer. They made their choice when they drew first blood. All it would take now is one fighter jet and it's over, Johnny. Why is this option never considered by Foster or anyone else? It could be a good character moment for Mark. To have to weigh thousands of lives against the lives of his family? Wouldn't that be compelling? But that's not what his character's about. His character's about standing in a series of different observation decks being told about the plot. Believe it, Mark does nothing to affect the plot from now until the final showdown in Boston. What a compelling character. But wait, I may have spoken too soon about shooting down the Orca, as we are soon given new but entirely contradictory information about Tywin's location. I'm still trying to figure this one out.
Godzilla appears to be following the same path as Emma's Osprey, heading north over South America to here, Outpost 56 in Isla de Mara, Mexico.
A few moments later.
You might want to rethink that.
Why?
Something's not right. Check this out. Emma's not at Isla de Mara. I mean, the signal's too weak to be local. She's bouncing it off our satellites.
Alright, what's going on? They just said the Argo was tracking Tywin's Osprey to Mexico. But the dude's really in Boston. Then what path were they tracking? Are you telling me Tywin intentionally left a trail of breadcrumbs to his next target, allowing the opportunity for Monarch to foil his plans? Did they just swing by for a donkey show in Tijuana on their way up to Medford? Why would there be any sign of a flight path to Mexico if they were never there? But that doesn't even cover what they said about Godzilla following his path. Are they scrambling Godzilla's signal too? I mean, it seems Godzilla's following Ghidorah, but that begs the question, where's Ghidorah going? Anybody? Ghidorah?
What?
She's a gonorrhea.
Ghidorah!
I guess he's heading to DC where he ends up later. Again, why? DC is only significant to us Americans. Why would that be his primary target? Nothing that's happening makes sense. It's like we just hit the reset button on the whole plot. Who's going where? What's going on? Where's the Orca, Michael? But who cares, right? It still got us to Isla de Mara.
Filmmaking is not about the tiny details, it's about the big picture.
So let's talk about Isla de Mara. Evacuation! The secretive Monarch organization descends on the small island of Isla de Mara. Their mission, feverishly ferry all the innocent islanders to safety before a wicked woman with a music box of malice can awaken a prehistoric pteranodon from its volcanic lair. Thousands fearfully flood the streets. Panic permeates the air. Will the citizens succumb to this coming catastrophe? Stay tuned for up-to-the-minute updates. And now a word from the vile vixen Vera herself. Emma Skypes the Argo, apparently with Tywin fully aware, and explains to them what her plan is, complete with a nice PowerPoint presentation to illustrate her points. Here's what she says. Mankind is on the brink of extinction. According to her and every teenage philosopher, mankind is an infection, with our pollution, and fracking, and Trump.
Oh, look at my African American over here. Look at him. Are you the greatest? You know what I'm talking about?
Because of these factors, she believes it justifies releasing all the monsters and letting them reclaim the planet at the cost of millions, if not billions of innocent lives. She says this is necessary because the Titans exude a special type of radiation that causes plant and animal life to flourish. Therefore, anyone who values their lives over the trees needs to go to the series of doomsday bunkers that Monarch has built all across the planet. That way, they can begin to restart civilization when the monsters have restored the planet to what she considers to be an acceptable state. Here's a few things you should know when you view this scene. In the commentary, Michael Dougherty says that this scene, Scene 59, was one of the toughest scenes to film in the whole movie. He also repeatedly refuses to classify Emma as a villain, instead referring to her as a complicated character. I can think of a few other complicated characters in history who wanted to kill millions of people to shape the world as they see fit. By that logic, we can classify Hitler as a silly goose.
Das war ein Befehl! Der Angriff Steiners war ein Befehl!
Also, it seems to me personally that Michael Dougherty is channeling his own beliefs through Emma.
For me, it's the dream world that I would want to live in. I mean, if I could push a button to wake up all the Titans and let them take charge, then I would.
Damn, that's heavy. Do you share that sentiment?
No way. Yeah. I mean, better that the monsters are calling the shots than certain government officials.
Perhaps the reason this scene was so hard to film was because it was hard to frame a discussion about eradicating millions of people and not have that character look like a complete lunatic. Now let's break down this plan of hers. Firstly, just by virtue of existing, we're gonna have an impact on our environment. Will that impact make Earth look like the surface of Mars in 50 years like she shows? I couldn't say. But having a negative environmental impact does not justify culling the herd in such disastrous fashion. That's just stupid. What about this Titan radiation idea that came out of fucking nowhere? If the monsters can cause rapid reforestation, couldn't we try harnessing that radiation for controlled use? Might be worth considering before we decide to hit the reset button on the entire human race. I mean, in the 5-year period between Godzilla 2014 and King of the Monsters, Monarch has developed the Orca, the Argo, and now possesses nearly unlimited scientific technologies. You see that big Muto head over there? Why don't you go tinker with that a little bit, see what you can find out. This is a half-thought-out plan by a half-thought-out character. You know what? Let's talk a little about Emma. I just don't buy Emma's motivation. Sacrifice the world to save the world? Isn't the first scene in the movie about the death of a child and how that death affects Emma? Now she's inflicting the same pain a millionfold on mankind, yet the movie keeps trying to make her a sympathetic character? There's no gun to Maddie's head. Tywin isn't twisting Emma's arm. This is all her plan. She's like the monster versus Thanos without any depth, but instead just a vague desire for balance and murderous intent. How complicated. Hey, remember how Thanos was redeemed at the end of Infinity War? Yeah, me neither. Let's run the numbers. This chick hired terrorists to kill all of her coworkers. She traumatized her daughter. She tried to kill her husband. Twice. She then voluntarily caused the single most destructive event in human history. And you're telling me I'm supposed to feel sympathy for this woman? Aw, poor Lady Hitler. I'm just so annoyed with her being portrayed as this weepy-eyed victim, while the movie downplays the consequences of her action. Death matters when it affects her, but immediately afterward it's just collateral damage forced to the background. Oh hey look, I think I see a couple consequences right there. Look, in the back of it, oh, it's gone. It's distracting how the movie keeps making poor excuses for sympathizing with her. The two best examples of that are her half-heartedly trying to get that one guy to leave before he's murdered, and now with the sudden introduction of these doomsday bunkers? Boy, do I fucking hate how this movie just drops entirely new concepts with no setup or explanation. In like 30 seconds, we learn the Earth is gonna end in 1 generation, Titans can make trees grow, and now we learn that Monarch has built bunkers on every country in the world. How? And with whose money? Do my American tax dollars fund the Russian bunker? Let's be real. The only reason we're hearing about this now is to make it seem like Emma's plan accounted for people's safety. Never mind the thousands who'll be trampled and killed during the Black Friday surge into the bunkers. Emma is saving us, right? The most damning thing about her character is her relationship to Godzilla. Which is what exactly? I don't think she ever even says his name in the entire movie. The main villain in a Godzilla movie never mentions Godzilla once. What is happening? Why can't Tywin be the bad guy? Let him be the villain we all know he can be. That's what we all came to see, isn't it? Why is he sequestered to the background? Why is he even in the movie? Why is the plot so bloated? This movie is a sequel, and it's like we're getting 2 movies worth of concepts all at the same time. It's a complete overload. We have a redundant villain, redundant comic relief, a whole host of superfluous characters, MacGuffins, secret organizations, doomsday bunkers, Titan radiation, a family drama, flying fortresses, Tywin's son, oil rig base, G-Team, Foster, 17 Titans, the Oxygen Destroyer, gonorrhea! Fuck it. I'll roll with you, Michael. I'll turn my brain off and try to have fun. I mean, it can only get better from here, right? Okay, so Emma is planning on releasing the next monster to help restore the environment. She may have struck out with the first one being an alien alpha predator, but we all make little oopsies here and there. The next monster she plans to release probably has some benevolent ability to grow trees and spread beautiful fields of flowers wherever it goes. Nope, it's the fire demon. The fire demon? The fucking fire demon? Her goal is to save the environment, and the next monster she awakens is the fucking fire demon? I'm almost at a loss for words. Almost. I get we're doing Rodan next for the obvious fan recognition, but can we at least attempt to make his introduction make sense? Did the writers suffer a massive head wound? Yet somehow it's about to get worse. So now Rodan is awake, and is perched atop the erupting volcano. He sees the city full of panicked refugees, but he continues to chill out in the lava flow. The Argo decides that their best chance to save the civilian population is to simply guide Rodan away from the city. All they have to do is fly towards him and then bank right, guiding him to the open ocean and away from the city. All they have to do is turn right. Wait, no, not my right, your right! Oh my god, you're gonna take him to the city? That's where all the people are! That's where your men are! What are you doing? How do you fuck that up?
Filmmaking is not about the tiny details, it's about the big picture.
What about the people?
I'm sorry?
The people down there in that village that don't realize they're gonna be the special of the day.
Oh, you mean those 11,000 tiny details? Well, fuck 'em. Plot coming through. Out of the way, idiots.
What the hell is the matter with you people? You've caused more damage than that goddamn thing did!
All right, Mayor, calm down.
Have some candy.
I don't want any candy. Leave me alone.
Here are the facts. The Argo needed to head east to Ghidorah. Their northern path is clear. Their southern path is clear. But for some inexplicable reason, they choose to follow this route. I know a lot of people like this movie, so please, write in the comments and tell me how you were able to look past this sloppy-ass script. Tell me how no other reviewer has even mentioned this scene. I can't be the only one. Look, there's only one way to describe this scene, and it may be offensive to some of you, but I need to be brutally honest. Monarch, namely the characters on the Argo, are completely, utterly, retarding their path back over the city. Wait, did you think I was gonna say, oh no, never! How dare you even think I'd stoop so low as to say that word? It's offensive. You know, Rodan's winds were so strong they actually dug up the main road in town. Yeah. But the highway department came by later and retarded it. Alright, cheekiness aside, if I was building a fraud case against someone impersonating a professional screenwriter, this would be my Exhibit A. Common sense tells you the Argo would have saved the city by veering to the right. Instead, they go back and to the left. 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 It's just so stupid. You know, I remember a few months back, I was reading the synopsis for the upcoming Godzilla vs. Kong. What stuck out to me was the phrase, "Monarch helps guide mankind in this new world of titans." Bitch, you couldn't guide yourself away from a city. It was a Monarch employee who caused this cataclysmic event. You think you can survive this PR nightmare? You hid the fact that monsters are lying in wait near major populations. You just caused Mexican 9/11. You're done, guys. Pack it up. But somehow, I know that all these plot points will be forgotten or sidelined in the next movie, in another stroke of narrative brilliance. You know, this horrible writing reminds me of that shitty Superman movie.
Save Martha!
No, the other one. No, the other one from like 1,000 years ago. Yes! Superman Returns. You know, the movie that was supposed to reignite the Superman franchise?
Wrong!
There's a brilliant moment in the plot where Lois Lane literally walks herself and her half-Superman son into Lex Luthor's lair. And even he's like, what the fuck?
Lois Lane?
I'm getting the same vibe from both scenes. The writers wanted to make the scene happen, but couldn't figure out how, so they just made their characters stupid. Actually, there's a lot of similarities between those two movies. They both underutilized their titular characters. I mean, besides saving a plane in the beginning, all Superman does in that film is whistle for a cab, blow out a lighter.
You know, you really shouldn't smoke, Miss Lane.
And get his ass kicked by Kal Penn. We're probably given as much Superman action in that movie as we are Godzilla action in this one. Wait a minute. That was you too, Michael? Oh, well that explains a lot. At least you finally had someone go for the eyes. Anyway, let's get back to the topic at hand. Where was I? This movie is like one giant fever dream. Alright, let's see. Shitty establishment of location, leads into shitty bad guy motivation, leads into flying Mexicans, leads into... Oh, that's right! The Rodan scene! Who could forget the Rodan scene? Everyone. It's forgettable. Planes fly in a straight line and he slaps them out of the air. They don't try to evade or attack. Once again, soldiers are dominoes. Knock 'em down, bro. Now I'm gonna wrap up this part of the review by talking about the patterns I began noticing in the plot. Patterns that foreshadowed all the disappointment to come. But, first thing is first. Let's talk about monster fights. Again. Now, I can't understate how much of a missed opportunity this scene is. The battles fought between the military and the monsters is so absolutely crucial in Godzilla films. These battles are how we determine how strong the monster is. Nothing sucks the air out of my lungs faster than seeing the Japanese self-defense force throw everything they have at Godzilla, only for him to pass through their defenses unfazed. It raises the stakes when we see the monster overpower the military's best effort. But is this Monarch's best effort? Let's take a look at the helicopter scene from Godzilla 98. It's a similar type of scene, but in that movie, they also use this engagement to show us the monster's abilities and intelligence. We learn from this encounter that Zilla is agile, elusive, and cunning.
I think we got him.
Now what does this scene tell us about Rodan's intelligence?
I'll try spinning, that's a good trick.
It's not as awe-inspiring despite the great visuals because it isn't impressive to swat defenseless jets. But this is all to build up the Rodan versus King Ghidorah fight, right? Well, let's see that fight in its entirety. Go. And there you have it. That's the whole thing. All 15 goddamn seconds of it. Let me guess. It's not just about the fights. Those are hugely important. They're the reason people are buying tickets to come see these fights, like a good boxing match.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
Now I know what you're thinking. This fight didn't feel that short in theaters, right? Well, viewer, that's because of the second instance of a pattern that's persisted throughout the film. When the fight first begins, something strange happens.
Hey, Mayday, this is Raptor 1 to Argo. Argo, do you read?
Copy, Raptor 1. What's your status?
We're screwed, Blackfoot, and we got kids on board.
Oh, okay. So now, out of fucking nowhere, our characters have been put in a dire situation that requires us to turn our attention away from the monster fight to see how it all works out. This pattern of distracting from the fights is prevalent throughout the film, and for some reason it always involves some type of aerial vehicle. First we had the helicopter on the cliff in Antarctica. Now we have this damaged helicopter carrying all the innocent kiddies. And later, the Argo will literally shove itself in front of the final battle, obscuring our view from what we want to see. What we paid to see. Patterns! This dullard literally takes every opportunity to deny us the monster action he promised, and it's always so shamefully ham-handed. Does anyone care about these kids? Do ya? I like Barnes, but I kinda wish he'd drop in the fucking drink just so we can get back to the monsters. By the way, if the Argo is being used as bait for a giant monster, why would he fly a group of kids to it? And how did a damaged helicopter catch up to the speeding Argo? Doesn't make any sense, does it? Patterns! You know, with all this random horseshit assaulting my eyes, ears, and other orifices, I can't help but feel like we're forgetting something. Oh yeah! Godzilla! This is a Godzilla movie, isn't it? Glad to see the writers didn't forget about him. But they did forget he can't fly. Yet somehow he's able to tackle Ghidorah in mid-flight. Look how fucking high up they are. I guess them thunder thighs give him a serious vertical leap. Whatever, I'm just glad to have him back. Now we can see Godzilla and Ghidorah clash in an underwater battle that'll surely be one for the... Hold up. Phone call. Hello? Who's this? Oh, it's the writers again. And they're sending us a little gift. A previously unestablished reference to an earlier film that'll instantly end the fight. Yup. Just like that, we have another pattern. New concepts being introduced to bring a quick end to a monster fight. Nothing helps a fight scene like being told it won't last long. Patterns! Also, keep in mind, the military has already sent the missile by the time they let Monarch know. Like warning them was an afterthought. You know what? Good. Take them all out. Wipe the board clean. Come on, Oxygen Destroyer. And it took out Godzilla. And only Godzilla. And that's that. This short-second fight will be the only Godzilla action we get between now and the final battle. Yep, that's all the Godzilla action we're gonna get. All we have left is the sound of Godzilla's pulse fading, just like my hype for this movie. What a disappointment. You know what? I'm sick of this. I'm sick of not getting what I paid for. I'm sick of being lied to. I'm sick of trying to suspend my disbelief. And you all should be sick too. This movie is the cinematic equivalent of Peter Griffin's Breakfast Machine. It's a big and complicated piece of nonsense that only fucks you in the end. My one hope in making this review is that I can convince fans like you not to ask for seconds. Then again, it may already be too late. Open wide.